Okay, so the groups are out, and I kind of want to address a few things here because I don't want anything being taken out of context. In regards to what I said about the group, I still think the U.S. men's national team can top this group. I'm going to explain why. Are we the favorites? No, Uruguay are the favorites. There's no doubt in my mind in regards to that. But I am 100% certain at this point that Uruguay is, despite being as good as they are, they're being a tad bit overhyped by many people that I think they don't understand the current situation of Brazil and Argentina, and they pull those results against Brazil and Argentina, and they just say, "Here it is, Uruguay's better than Brazil and Argentina." And sure, they have a stable situation with their coach right now. Bielsa is fantastic. They have fantastic players too. We're gonna go through Uruguay's starting 11 very soon, but they're not Brazil and Argentina level. They're not. As soon as Brazil figures out the coaching situation, they'll be ahead of Uruguay once again. And Argentina is also going through some iffy moments. Scaloni even wants to leave. But anyhow, back to what I was saying. I want to go through each game of this group so we can try to project where the United States will be. And then next week, I'll do an edited video so I can break down each group, a prediction video, full bracket. That'll be next week on Wednesday or Thursday. We'll do a full 2024 Copa America prediction video. Today, I want to focus only on Group C. And once again, as U.S. men's national team fans, this is my question to everyone because all I see is like, we're going to get crushed by Uruguay. And I understand the pessimism. I mean, Greg Berhalter still is in charge and he is the bare minimum manager. He accomplishes the bare minimum. And Uruguay would be pulling an upset, in my opinion, defeating Uruguay. So I understand why people don't think we can beat Uruguay, or some people don't think we can even tie Uruguay because of Greg Berhalter. But here's my question to you. When are we going to raise the bar? Seriously, when are we going to raise the bar? When are we going to go to a tournament that's played in our home? We're playing in the United States against Uruguay, which, no offense to Uruguay, this is not a World Cup contender team. This is a Uruguay side that could make a deep run in the World Cup. They could make it to a semifinals, depending on the matchups they get. And if they're very well coached by then, still by Bielsa, because Bielsa tends to, kind of like start red hot and then just kind of like drop very harshly by year 3. So we'll see how Uruguay looks in the World Cup. This is not a World Cup contending team. And Uruguay are not the favorites to win the Copa America. It's still Brazil and Argentina, with Uruguay being very close to them right now. Very close because they have stability, they're in good form, and Bielsa has gotten them going. But this is not a World Cup contender. We're going to play them at home. Why is just getting crushed by them acceptable? That's my question. Um, uh, of course, I am extremely pessimistic in terms of like Berhalter still being in charge. But with the players we have playing at home, and I'm going to go through our World Cup group as well. Why is it acceptable to just like, we're going to lose to Uruguay at home? It's okay. It's like, no, no. And here's the thing. Here's the thing that I want to add as well. We keep talking about how we want the U.S. men's national team to do something special in 2026. To me, special would have to be make it to the quarterfinals. If you're going to make it to the quarterfinals, you're going to have to get a signature win, one or two, pull an upset. And we haven't done that under Greg Berhalter ever. Like literally ever pulled a legitimate upset. Like his best result is tying England 0-0. That's literally probably the craziest result he got, which again, I think it's more on Southgate's incompetency rather than Berhalter being competent. So if we don't get that in the Copa America, if he gets no signature wins, no upsets in the Copa America, that'll be what? Berhalter will be in charge 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. It'll be 6 years of Berhalter in charge that we get no upsets, no signature wins. We just beat up the weakest Mexican generation of all time. So again, if he doesn't get that done, what makes us believe anything will be accomplished in 2026 besides getting out of the group and losing to the first team we should lose to? And I know it's kind of crazy, right? You're like, well, you're saying that the coach needs to pull. Yeah, I mean, we are underdogs. We're not world beaters. And when are we going to pull an upset? We've seen previous generations of the U.S. men's national team pull crazy wins. 1994, the United States defeated Colombia. That was an actual World Cup contender at the time, the 1994 Colombia. 2009, that one was a game I actually watched, right? 1994, I didn't watch it, obviously, but 2009, we defeated Spain in the Confederations Cup, the same Spanish team that had won the Euros and went on to win the World Cup. When are we going to get that with Berhalter? This is the tournament. And if we're just going to accept that losing to Uruguay is okay, I guess, like, if you can't beat Uruguay, you're not beating Brazil. I'll tell you that. Even though people are going to bring up, oh, but Uruguay defeated Brazil. Yeah, Brazil literally has a part-time coach. The guy was like leading Fluminense to win the Libertadores while being busy with two things at the same time. Lots of issues also figuring out this post-Neymar, whatever. Even though Neymar did play against Uruguay, the Brazilian Federation president just got impeached out of nowhere. So it's tiring because people don't follow it and they just bring up these silly arguments with no context. Queen Nadra is saying, if we play 5 at the back, low block and counter, then we have a chance. If we don't, then Greg Berhalter will get schooled. Yeah, I'll talk about how I think we should play against Uruguay, Queen Nadra. I think I wouldn't say a low block, maybe play a mid block so you can strike them in transition a bit faster. You let them have the ball. Don't try to play possession against Uruguay, especially under Bielsa. He's going to do a man marking press. And if you try to play out of the back, he'll create chaos. And out of chaos, Uruguay will thrive. So don't try to play possession style against Uruguay, especially when you're the United States. They're very good also in containing teams to not getting a lot of shots. Uruguay played Brazil, and I watched that game. And they did a fantastic job on simply not allowing Brazil to create opportunities. Brazil had far more possession than Uruguay. And Brazil has better players than the United States. And Brazil still couldn't create against Uruguay. It was a very tough game. And Uruguay ended up winning, 2-0. Now, I will say one thing. Uruguay are the favorites to win the group. There's no doubt in my mind in regard to that. But I want to go through the matchups here. Let's go through our Lubin Super Chat, and then we'll talk about this. Let's see here. So Arlubin saying, would love to see a combined 11 between United States and Uruguay. Also, I see a lot of Uruguay fans saying they'll score 4+. Hope we can at least draw. Yeah, once again, Uruguay defeating us wouldn't be a shocker. I'm just saying that us pulling a draw should also not be a shocker. 4-0, no. Like if we lose 4-0 to Uruguay, just fire Greg. If you're going to lose 4-0 to Uruguay at home in a competitive game, just fire Greg. Shouldn't be losing to Uruguay 4-0 at home. I'm sorry. It shouldn't have. Even to Brazil and Argentina. We should be able to make it scrappy, make it tough for them. If he can't do that, just fire this guy. Seriously. And as I always, and I forgot to say, drop a like button in this video. If you haven't already, drop it right now. Let's try to hit 100, 200 likes, whatever we can. And let us know in the comment section, where do you think the United States will finish in this group? So going on, this is how it starts. The United States plays Bolivia first, and Uruguay plays Panama. Look, no altitude. There should be no problem beating Bolivia here. We should beat Bolivia by a wide margin. It should be 2-3, 4-0. Not even 2. It should be 3-4, 5-0. You got to beat Bolivia by a wide margin at home. And I'll tell you why. Because this group could end up decided on goal differential if everything goes as planned. Okay? So going on from that, United States and Bolivia, the U.S. should get a comfortable win against Bolivia. Uruguay and Panama. Thomas Christensen will make it tough for Uruguay, but I think Uruguay should beat Panama with not many struggles. I can't see. This is what I'll say. I can't see Panama scoring on this Uruguay side. This Uruguay side has amazing defenders. Their defense is simply fantastic. Cáceres, Roland Araujo, Ugarte from PSG protecting that back line, Oliveira, the left back from Napoli, Jimenez from Atletico Madrid. It's just, I can't see Panama scoring on Uruguay. And I can see Uruguay pulling a good 2 goals on Panama comfortably. With that said, United States and Uruguay should win those first matchups. They should absolutely win those 2 matchups. United States and Uruguay. And again, Bolivia should be the biggest punching bag of this group. So the United States has to score more goals in Bolivia than Uruguay will score on Panama. Then we go to the second leg, where Panama plays the United States. And I'm going to remind you guys, when we played Panama in World Cup qualifying at home, they had the same coach, Thomas Christensen. We played them at home with our best players, and the game was here in Orlando. What was it, 5-0? 5-1? Don't remember right now. I was actually at the game, but I don't remember. It was like we scored 5 goals. Will we do that in the Copa America? Probably not 5. I don't think it'll be easy. Panama is definitely improving more and more under Christensen. We saw what they did against Costa Rica in the Nations League. But there is absolutely no reason for us to not defeat Panama at home. There are no excuses. Seriously. I'm not joking. If you can't defeat Panama at home, forget 2026. You have to defeat Panama at home. Now, I don't think this game will be easy. I think it'll be something like a 1 or 2 goal differential 1-0, 2-1, 2-0. It'll be close, but the United States should absolutely defeat Panama at home. And then Uruguay and Bolivia, I think Uruguay should easily defeat Bolivia 3-4-5-0, something similar to what I said about the United States first. Once again, Bolivia without the altitude, this team is not very good. No offense to Bolivia. I even think they're a bit better than they were in the past, but it's just not very good. With that said, the United States and Uruguay would arrive in the last game with 2 wins each. It would really depend on who has a better goal differential, which it's kind of hard to predict that. If and whoever has that can play for the draw. If Uruguay can play for the draw, which I don't think they will play for the draw, they would still go for the win. I don't think Uruguay would play against the US to go for the draw. I don't really like our odds because then we would have to take the initiative and go after Uruguay. They would probably let us have the ball. They know how to soak up pressure. They might press us at times, but it might not be like crazy Bielsa murder ball at all times. If that's the case, the United States will not top the group. The only scenario I see us topping the group is we arrive in the last match of the group against Uruguay ahead on goal differential, both teams with 2 wins. And then we just need a draw to go through in first place because that will force Uruguay to take the initiative. And then Greg Berhalter has to stop being a dumbass, think for a second, and change the way he plays. Don't go possession style. Don't go possession against them. Let them have the ball. Play that 4-4-2 mid block. Maybe it depends on how Uruguay sets up. Usually Uruguay goes on a 4-2-3-1. I can go into that in a second. But set up a mid block and try to hit Uruguay in transition. That's how you should play. Don't try to play out of the back. Bielsa will freaking press the living crap out of you. He loves to do that man marking press. We saw that with Leeds quite a bit. And then Jesse's more of a zonal press. Bielsa's more of a man marking press. That's the situation I think the United States can top the group. Now, if we have to go to that game needing to defeat Uruguay and having to take the initiative and attack Uruguay, I don't like our odds, and Uruguay will top the group. But again, saying that we can top the group is not crazy. The main issue with the United States will be scoring goals on Uruguay. That's why I'm very concerned in regards to having to take the initiative. Uruguay's defense is freaking rock solid as a team and individually. Now, Bolivia and Panama in the last game, who cares? I think Panama is better than Bolivia. They should win it. But this is what I want to show everyone because I didn't see many people saying we would get grouped, but I saw many people saying that we're going to finish second. And this was the poll that I put at the channel. People are still voting on this poll as 4,500 votes, so 4,500 votes. And it's pretty much asking, where do I think the United States men's national team will finish in this group? 25% said the United States would finish in first. 65% said second, which means, what is it right now? 90% of you believe the United States will, or almost 90% believe the United States will go through to the next round, which is fair. It should be that way. With this group, Bolivia and Panama, we need to finish ahead of them. And then 3% said third, and then 4% said fourth. It could just be trolls or people that actually are just in disbelief right now. But mainly what I want to say was to anyone, if you go back to the World Cup right here, for anyone that didn't think that thinks we could get out in the group stage, or that if that happens in any way, shape, or form, it's acceptable, whatever. In the World Cup, the United States had England, Wales, and Iran in the group. Okay. In the Copa America, we have Uruguay, Panama, and Bolivia. England is better than Uruguay. And I am a professional England hater. England is better than Uruguay, even with Bielsa. Wales and Iran are better than Panama and Bolivia. We got out of that group in second. We got 1 win, 1 draw, 1 loss. Did we play well? No. We played Berhalter ball. It wasn't enjoyable. We tied Wales, we tied England, and we defeated Iran 1-0. It was very boring, but we got through that group. Why in the world would we not get out of this group? Our team is better now. We added Balogun. Pepe's actually getting called in. Gio Reyna didn't play in the World Cup in the group stage pretty much because of Greg Berhalter. Why would we not get out of this group? Like, I kid you not. If we don't get out of this group, fire Greg Berhalter on the spot. If we don't get out of this Copa America group, you fire Greg Berhalter right there. Don't even wait. Don't even wait a week or so. As soon as we're out in the group stage, if that happens, you fire Greg Berhalter. It doesn't make sense. In the World Cup, we weren't playing at home. We were playing neutral ground. Now we're playing at home, which we tend to do better. It's the same mediocre coach, Greg Berhalter. And we have better players. Like Gio Reyna's actually playing now. Actually playing. Balogun was added. Pepe might actually go this time, even though he didn't go to the World Cup. Pulisic is finding, his form again with AC Milan that he didn't have at Chelsea. And Dest is finally playing PSV. Richards will hopefully be getting minutes by then. The team is better. The team is better. It's the same coach. There's no excuses. You get out. If you get knocked down the group stage, you fire Greg right away. Now this is a good one. The pitch saying he should resign. Yes, if he gets knocked down the group stage, he should man up and resign right away. But I don't think he'll get on the group stage, just to make that clear. Judgmental is asking, hypothetically, Tack, if the United States lost to Uruguay but turned around to beat Colombia and Brazil in the quarterfinals, how would you grade that acceptable wise? I would say that's a good result. I'm not saying that losing to Uruguay is unacceptable. It depends on how you lose to Uruguay. If we play Uruguay and we do fine, we play well, but we lose 2-1, so be it. Like, you can lose to Uruguay. Like, losing to Uruguay is not unacceptable. I'm just saying that we should raise our bar and try to get a result. Losing to Uruguay, fine. If we lose to Uruguay and then we defeat Colombia or Brazil, Brazil would be a signature win. Colombia, I don't know if it would be a signature. It wouldn't be a signature win to defeat Colombia, but Colombia is a very good team. That would be probably the biggest win of the Berhalter era. Colombia is far better than Mexico. And then outside of Mexico, who do we defeat? Like a Morocco team in crisis. We tied England. So if we lose to Uruguay and we play fine, like we don't get crushed by Uruguay, and we defeat Colombia or Brazil in the quarterfinals, probably Brazil, right? If we finish second, I would say it's a very good Copa America if that happens. Very good Copa America. But we need to raise our bar and go for the first place in this group. Try to top this group. Beat Bolivia, beat Panama, and then get a freaking result against Uruguay, whether it's a draw or win. Don't accept getting crushed by Uruguay. That's unacceptable. Jeff, I'm back. I'm sketchy. Hey, Jeff, welcome back. I apologize. Whoever blocked Jeff, don't block Jeff. You guys, some of the mods blocked a few people, but everyone, don't forget to drop a like in this video. Let's try to get 300 likes in this video. Get those likes up. It's free, and it actually helps the channel quite a bit. So I went through this, went through that. Let me put real quick, at least the Uruguay match that I watched, which was against Brazil. I watched a few other World Cup qualifyings, but this was the one. I didn't watch the Argentina one, I'll say that. But this was the lineup that Uruguay put out. And obviously missing Jimenez here. He should be starting. Araujo sometimes goes to the right back position, and then they have Jimenez there on the center back. These two right here, if you look at the starting 11, Ugarte and Valverde, these are two world-class players. These are two players that the United States does not have players at that level right now. We do not have a player at the same level as Valverde. We do not have a player at the same level as Ugarte. Absolutely. But then you look at Araujo, the winger. This guy's literally a winger that plays in Liga MX. Plays for Toluca, right? If I'm not mistaken, Araujo. Let me check here. Yes, Toluca. Araujo plays for Toluca. Then you have Pelistri that never really broke through with Manchester United. De La Cruz that plays for River Plate and apparently is going to Flamengo. Up top, you have Darwin Núñez, which he's better also than all our center forwards. As good as Balogun is, Darwin Núñez is a much better player. Roland Araujo also from Barcelona, the center back right there or right back, wherever you want to play him. World class, better than all our defenders, Araujo. Oliveira, the left back. I know some people might disagree with this. I think he's better than Jedi Robinson. So if we did a combined 11, it would absolutely be mostly Uruguay. Mostly Uruguay. But what I'm just saying is, like, this is not a team better than Brazil and Argentina on paper. If you look at it player by player, look at Brazil's wingers. Both wingers are better. Neymar at the 10. I know Neymar's injured, but Neymar at the 10, for example, he's better than De La Cruz. And then you have Bruno Guimarães and Casemiro, Valverde and Ugarte. Honestly, I know Casemiro's in poor form for Manchester United. He's actually injured right now. But Bruno Guimarães and Casemiro, to me, it's very similar level to Valverde and Ugarte. Those are all world-class players. And then left back, Oliveira is better than Augusto. And, I wouldn't put Nandes, but I'll put like Roland Araujo is better than Couto. Their defense is better, even though on paper Brazil's defense is great too. Brazil might have a better goalkeeper. I think Ederson, even though Sergio Rochet from Internacional is brilliant, but I think Brazil's a better goalkeeper. So Brazil's better on paper, just about figuring out the coaching situation. Uh, but this is more or less like a lot of the players. Now, some players that I could mention here also for Uruguay, Arrascaeta from Flamengo. He can play out wide. He can also play as a 10. He is brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. I think he's better than De La Cruz, in my opinion. But overall, this is a beatable team, a very strong, very beatable team at the same time, which with the United States playing at home, like get the freaking result. But I just wanted to show you guys this. I could also show you real quick. Let's see how they played against Argentina. I didn't watch the Argentina game. I know against Brazil, they did a fantastic job containing Brazil. Brazil couldn't really create. So against Argentina, this is how they set up, also in a 4-2-3-1. But Araujo became a right back. Matias Vinha, that played for Palmeiras, became a left back. And then Oliveira and Cáceres made the two center backs. Cáceres, I believe, plays for Copa America right now. But then that, Ugarte and Valverde, these two are the key right there. These two are freaking tremendous players. And then Araujo from Liga MX on the left wing, Pelestri on the right wing, De La Cruz, and then Darwin Núñez up top. Darwin Núñez is also very much a hit or miss. The guy either drops stinkers or masterclass. There's no good performances. It's either a masterclass or a stinker. That's Darwin Núñez. And Turtle, thank you for the super chat too. He's saying, is there a situation where we purposefully lose to Uruguay to play Colombia in the quarterfinals? Only if Colombia tops the group. The problem is Group D, which is the group we cross paths with. I believe they play after us. So it will be a situation where I can bring up the table here and look at it. So Brazil and Colombia played their last game July 2nd. We play Uruguay July 1st. So we won't know who will top the group between Brazil and Colombia. And also, if Colombia defeats Brazil, you rather play Colombia that just defeated Brazil? Sure, on paper, Brazil will be better, but maybe Brazil's not in good form in the tournament. So, no, I don't think there's any situation we would lose on purpose to avoid Brazil and play Colombia because we won't know. We won't know that we will play before them. So we really won't know. Last but not least, I want to go through real quick just to give you guys information. Then next week, I'll do a full-on prediction video going through every single group. But I just want to put this here on screen real quick just so you know each game, where they will be played. So Argentina will probably play Canada, actually, in Atlanta. That will be their first game. Then you have Argentina playing Chile. That will be in MetLife in New York. And then Argentina also plays Peru. That will be in Miami at the Hard Rock Stadium. In Group B, Mexico and Jamaica will play in Houston. Then Mexico and Venezuela will play in LA at the SoFi Stadium. That hopefully gets re-added to the World Cup. And then Mexico plays Ecuador. The toughest game for Mexico in the group stage is probably Ecuador. That'll be in Phoenix, Arizona. And then going on to the next page, we have Group C, where the U.S. will face Bolivia in Dallas. We're probably not going to pack that game. Then the U.S. will play Panama in Atlanta. Then the U.S. will play Uruguay in Kansas City at the Arrowhead Stadium. Now, Group D, Brazil first plays in LA against a CONCACAF nation, which will be Costa Rica or Honduras. Then Brazil plays in Vegas against Paraguay. And then Brazil plays their last game in Santa Clara, California, in San Francisco, right? San Francisco against Colombia to decide who goes through. And this is the thing here, what he's saying. Uruguay is good. RM Zwig saying Uruguay is good and overhyped by U.S. fans who only know Premier League, so they have Bielsa bias. I wouldn't say they only know Premier League, but I 100% agree with you. Uruguay is very good. They're a very good team, but they're also being extremely overhyped by Uruguayans and Americans. They're beatable. They're beatable. That's the thing. Now, again, when we play them, when the United States plays them, Uruguay are the favorites. They have better players. They have better players. They have a better coach. There's no doubt. But we're playing at home, and also the best team doesn't always win. Morocco is not a top four team in the world, and they were in the semifinals of the World Cup. It depends on how the coach adjusts, the form of the players. These are also short tournaments. You catch fire, catch good form, things can happen. So I mainly did this stream to just go through the group, talk about what I expect from the United States. I'm obviously going to be doing a video going through every single group, my prediction video, but that's all. I think some people are just overhyping Uruguay a bit too much. This is the Uruguay team that, sure, they added Bielsa, but this is the team that failed to get out of their group in the World Cup. In the last Copa America, they lost in the quarterfinals. They also barely qualified to the 2022 World Cup. They struggled in World Cup qualifying. And then Diego Alonso came out of nowhere and rescued them, their coach. So sure, they're flaming hot right now because Brazil's in crisis, Argentina's in crisis, and Marcelo Bielsa stabilized the situation with Uruguay. But this team is being extremely overhyped. And the U.S. continues to be underestimated because of the Berhalter tax. Berhalter really has gotten people to disrespect the United States more than ever. It's just a fact. But anyhow, as I said, I'm going to talk about in the prediction video. I still expect Uruguay to top the group, but I wouldn't be surprised if the United States does so. And if we don't get out of our group, Berhalter should be fired. Drop a like before you go right now, and don't forget to drop a comment when I close this stream in the comment section. Let me know. If we get knocked out in the group stage, do we fire Berhalter or not? Even let's say he gets like 4 points. So it's not terrible, but it's bad, but not terrible. Do we fire him? In my opinion, yes. Regardless of the context, if we don't get out of the group, you absolutely 100% fire Greg. Want to change the way the world sees U.S. soccer? Start pulling some upsets.